All right, we are officially live. It is 3 p.m. on the 11th of March, 2019. My name is Chris, and this is my channel, We Love Comics. Thank you always for taking the time to listen to one of my videos, and I got an unboxing that I want to open for you guys live. I've actually had these in the box for almost about a month, because I won this, I think, back in February 12th or somewhere around there. Somewhere right around Valentine's Day. And I'll tell you, some of these are hard to not open, but I do it always just in case. I mean, hindsight is 2020, but I always save a couple of boxes just in case if there's some kind of scenario where basically what's been going on recently, so I make sure I have videos so I can give you guys constant content. So I only gave about 20 minutes notice for this. I already see people starting to come in. So let me first turn on the video so you could see me. And we got a special guest here. We had to take her back to the emergency room today, but we wanted to give... This is Luna. She's in her little protective thing. And they wrapped up her bandage because she popped her staples, and she had a breathing problem this morning, so we had to rush her to the emergency room. So forgive me if I don't look as great as I normally do. But I want to say hi to Brandon, Horror Breakdown, Bake the Snake. Good to see regular people keep coming back. Mr. Garrell or Garrel, forgive me if I say that wrong. Johnny Future's here. Geoff Blades is here. John Hino Hosa. Forgive me, I'll probably butcher that. But I always say hello to the people who get here early because I always appreciate those who are here to support my channel. And speaking of supporting the channel, if you ever want to do that, all you have to do is join the cashback program. There's a link in the description. It's free to do. It actually helps my channel if somebody actually uses it. And if you spend $25 or more within the first 30 days of signing up, you get $10 cash back. So, she's all right. She had some more fluid in her lungs, so we had to get her a shot and everything. She was pretty bad this morning, but she's better now, and she's just relaxing on my lap. So if you're just coming in, there is Luna with her little satellite dish. So that's her story right now. So she wanted some company. I guess she wanted to see this unboxing. Now, there are actually 3 comics in here, so I have a feeling this seller did not put them in a bag and board, but we'll find out. These are 3 pretty key books. 2 of the 3, anyway. 1, not so much, but considering the price, this is one of the things I want to establish to people, how you can always find deals, so never give up hope. And there's always a method to my madness. So these were a... they had it at a starting price, and then a buy it now, which was only $20 more than the starting price. And when you see the comics, you'll understand why I got the buy it now and didn't wait, because I knew if this would have actually went to the auction part, it would have gone way above what they were asking for. All right, so they did put them in bag and board, so that's good. All right, so... this is why I always tell people, check out the newly listed comics. And you gotta be very repetitive about it, which means you have to have, like me, a lot of free time where you could refresh over and over again, because it does take a little while to find one. Sometimes it's a needle in a haystack, but as you could see with video after video, I keep finding them. So either I'm pretty lucky or there's more to it than just luck. I don't believe in luck. I believe you can create your own destiny by the effort or lack of effort that you put into your life. If we sit there moping and saying, woe is me, nothing's ever going to happen, what a surprise, you manifest that to be true. So I want to try and instill with people to not give up hope. You have to put in the effort, and eventually you will reap the rewards. So with that being said, let me show the 3 books. And don't forget, wait until the end so you can see who's today's surprise subscriber shout out. If you're not a subscriber, I hope I earn your subscription. Hit the subscribe button. And let me first show you the comics. So they put... what did they do? Alright, so they put 2 comics in this one bag and board. So, if anything, I can inspect the comic. So we'll take it out of the bag and board, and I'll show you. These are lower grade, but like I always say, low grade is better than no grade. All right, so here's the first one. This is the one that's not the key. But, I mean, it's still early in Humans. This is Fantastic Four, issue number 47. You can see on the back right there, it's got some creases. Looks like it was bent a couple of times, which means probably somebody putting them in the bag and board. Probably just tried to force them in. You could see there might be a little... I'm not sure if that's bug chew or not. Just looks like it might have got ripped there. It might have been taped there at one point. But overall, that presents good. But that was kind of the throw-in issue. One book alone makes this worth it. But I'll show that as the third book. Book number 2. We got Fantastic Four, issue number 53, which is the second appearance of Black Panther. And it's the origin of Black Panther. So this does have significance. For some reason, I mean, obviously Fantastic Four 52 is the one to get. That's the Black Panther's first appearance. But I'm actually surprised this book isn't higher in price. So to me, I think this is still a buying opportunity because you know they're going to have a Black Panther 2. So you haven't seen the last of that character. So considering, you know, how... I mean, can't say that Black Panther was the greatest movie ever. It definitely wasn't. But considering the amount of accolades it's getting, it's definitely created a big enthusiasm for the character. So this is, I'd have to look it up, but it looks actually pretty darn decent. I would say probably a 3.5 to a 4.0 range. Obviously, I'm going to take it out and look at the back. But this next book is the reason why I bought this. It does have a detached centerfold, which they did mention, but that's okay. Even, you'll see. Here is the other book. Fantastic Four, number 49. Which, of course, if you saw my video the other day, that was one of the books I got graded. Which is the first full appearance of Galactus, second appearance Silver Surfer, first time both characters are on the cover. So... even with the cover I'm sorry, not the cover detached, but even with the centerfold detached, I would say this is probably a 2.5 to 3.5 range. That would put this book in around the $250 to $300 range, just this book alone. And that is before the Fantastic Four, Galactus, or the Silver Surfer are in the MCU. I cannot stress enough, that is a book I tell people to get all the time. So, the 3 books, before I give you the price, Fantastic Four 47, kind of the throw-in. They actually put this on the auction as Fantastic Four 55. So 53 is a lot more key than issue 55, because this is the second appearance of Black Panther and his origin. So definitely a key book to get. And then, of course, the one I just showed, which was the Fantastic Four, issue number 49. Definitely a book I recommend getting all the time. So here's how it went. This was a just-listed auction. So I had to pounce because it had a buy it now, but a starting price. And they had the starting price at $49.95, plus about $6 and change with shipping and handling. Luna's wanting to see what's going on. So at $49.95, I knew that if I didn't act on this really quick, let me put her down. There we go. I knew that somebody was going to bid on that and it was going to go pretty high. Because if you saw the video I did yesterday, and if you haven't, I highly recommend you check it out. I gave some of the prices of some of the books I had graded yesterday that came back from PGX. And a 0.5 of Fantastic Four number 49 is worth about $180. And that's before the movie. So at $49.99, I knew I had to pounce on it. The buy it now was for $69.95. So it had like a $6 and change let me move this over. $6 and change shipping and handling. So a grand total for all three books, $76.45, which means they come out to $25.48 a piece. Now, I got these about a month ago, around February 11th, 12th, 13th, or 14th, somewhere in that area. So it was this year. I've been talking about this book, especially Fantastic Four 49, for the longest time. And I see people all the time saying, oh, you know, that's on my want list and I can't afford it and everything. I just got this book for $25. I got the origin of Black Panther and the second appearance for $25. The other one, you know, it's not worth that much. But considering the fact that the Fantastic Four will be in the MCU, that one book alone probably will end up being a $400 to $500 book by the time the movies come out, or even if they just mention in a teaser or something. So to pay for the price I did with a buy it now shows that there are opportunities out there. You just have to put in the effort. You can't just go on eBay for 5 minutes and then give up and say, you know what, I can't do this. I literally will spend 2 to 3 hours at times. Like, I can't do it now because we're concentrating more on the cat. But when I was doing this, and I'll get back to it eventually, we'll get back on our feet again, I would be on there for 1 or 2 hours, refreshing every 3 to 5 minutes. So it takes a lot of effort. But as you could see, you reap the rewards. Because I could literally turn around and sell this book right now if I wanted to. I could put this online for $100. It would sell probably that day. So I would have made all of my money plus profit and still have the other 2 books. Obviously, I'm not going to do that. Marvel Joe says, Chris, how's Luna doing? I actually showed her on camera before she was sitting on my lap. We had to take her to the emergency room this morning because her lungs were all gargling, and actually we got really worried because she was panting out of her mouth like she couldn't breathe. So they had to give her some shots and did some x-rays and found fluid in her lungs, so we had to increase her medication. So she's going through a lot, but she'll be okay. We're going to make sure of that. My wife and I really care about this cat, and you know, it's like anything in life. You put the effort in, you'll reap the reward. And if anything, if you do it with love, you know, good things will come out of it. So I always appreciate people. So thank you, Marvel Joe, for asking that question. And I know a couple of people that do care about it, and those are the people that matter the most to me. All right, so let me do today's surprise subscriber shout out. Go on eBay, check out for deals, put in the effort. If you can't put in the effort or you refuse to put in the effort, you know, like they say in life, you get what you give. So if you give nothing, why are you expecting to get everything? Sometimes you got to do the work it takes. Just make it fun. Don't turn it into a chore. Because if you're doing it and it seems like work, don't be surprised you're going to be working for a very long time. Make it into a fun game. If you don't have the book that you want, say it's just a matter of time. Like, I eventually will get an Amazing Fantasy 15. There's been a little delay because we're more concentrating and our cat's health is more important than a comic book. So that's put that on hold for a little while, but I'm not going to sit here and say it's never going to happen. I will make it happen. And one of the things that people ask, because there was somebody that left one of those typical comments from people who say there's no haters. It's like, and they said, oh, Chris, I don't understand you. You always talk about wanting to get an Amazing Fantasy 15, but then you keep buying the same books over and over again. You know, by the time you saved all that money, you could have bought a book. Well, first of all, it's easier to spend $70 on a group of books than it is $6,000. Because a 0.5 Amazing Fantasy 15 runs around $6,000. So it's a little bit easier to come up with a couple of hundred here and there. But here's the method. The idea is, eventually, the reason why I get multiples of these copies is eventually I want to gather up enough key books to do a trade with somebody for an Amazing Fantasy 15. Because I'm not going to say I can't ever come up with the money. It's a little bit more challenging. But I have enough valuable books where I can combine them and maybe do a trade. So, for example, I paid $25 for this book. After you average it out, I could sell this for 4 times that amount. So to make that extra profit means I took a certain level of money I had and actually made it into something more. So yes, I understand what people say, oh, just save your money, you get the $6,000. Well, what if I bought $2,000 worth of books, they increased their value to $6,000, and I could buy a book that way via trade. So instead of actually raising the actual $6,000 in total, maybe I only needed about $2,000 worth of books because I buy some so undervalued that it makes them more desirable for a trade, and I just save myself $4,000. So the easy way for most people is, I'll just save the money and I'll just buy whatever I want. Well, my thing is to take something that is valuable, pay less than what the value is, sell it eventually for higher than what the current value is because I research what books to get. That means all of that extra profit, instead of coming out of my pocket, is coming out from somewhere else. So there's always a method to the madness. Anybody can come up with $6,000 to buy a book, but my goal is to spend maybe about $1,500 worth of books to maybe $2,000 worth of books, get those values up to that $6,000, and then make a trade. So instead of having the $6,000 out of my pocket, only around $2,000, and it's already money I already spent. So upgrading. There's an episode, if you ever saw, of The Office, where what's his name? Not Jim, but the guy with the glasses. I forget his name. It's irrelevant. He starts out. There was this. They were doing almost like a yard sale in their office, and he started out with, I think, like a paperclip or something, and he kept trading up to take that to get something of more value. And by the end of the day, that little paperclip eventually got him a giant-sized telescope. So the idea is, yes, he could have went out and just bought that telescope. Let's say it would have been worth about $200. He could have said, well, here's $200, let me get that telescope. But instead, he took a paperclip or something minuscule, traded it up and up and up and up until he now used that basically paperclip to buy a telescope. So that's what I'm doing with my comics. I, right now, and again, it can change, you never know, all of a sudden I can win the lottery, or all of a sudden my gold and silver collection just triples in money overnight, you never know. But right now, I'm trying to buy comics low that I can turn around and either sell high or trade and get a better value and end up using the difference to pay for it. So instead of me paying the whole thing, somebody else is. So hopefully that will help you. And yes, Horror Breakdown, I remember that as well. He ends up ultimately trading the telescope for magic beans. So it shows, you know, you could do the smart thing and you can also do the dumb thing. But I'm glad to see. Yes, and it's Dwight. So Noah, thank you for that. Dwight was the one. That was such a great episode. But it can teach you that it's not always about just having the money and buying something you want. Because if you can find something of lower value and be able to upgrade and upgrade and upgrade, now somebody else is spending the money extra for you instead of you having it out of your own pocket. So that's what makes it easier. So some people, like Comic Mike says, some people will never understand, but I'm not here for them. They obviously don't listen. I'm here for you guys to see that there are other ways of doing things. I'm trying to show people that even though I am not a millionaire, not yet, I'm trying, but there are still ways to get the things that you want. The idea is you have to put the time in, you have to put the effort in, you have to have a positive mindset. That's why I don't get as defensive as I once did with my previous channel that I shut down. I'm not trying to appease people who aren't here for the right reasons. I'm trying to teach you guys there's always a way. So put in the effort. Do your research. If you don't know the minimum value of this book right now, which is $180, then how are you supposed to know what's a good deal if you see it on eBay? Because if this book, this is probably a like I said, about, let's say 2.5 to 3.5 range. That's about a $300 book right now. The others are just a bonus. So that was a buy it now with a listing that just happened that had an auction price, which means once somebody left in a bid, that buy it now price is gone. And there would have been no way this would have ended that low of a price. It would have probably went to about $200 to $300 for that auction. But because it had the buy it now and I was there early enough, I was able to seize the opportunity and buy 3 books where it's way below what their values are. And like I said, even if it was just for the 1 book, it's totally worth it. So put in the effort and you will be rewarded. But like I say, make it fun. Make it into a game. It's all about enjoyment. If you're doing it just solely for the money, you're going to be disappointed more than you'll ever be happy. You'll be frustrated. And if that's why some of the people that cause the negativity here, all they are is frustrated all the time. If that's the way you want to live life, well, you know, life is going to give you something to be miserable about. You will create that kind of environment based on your output into the world. So that's why I want this channel to be more than just, here's a comic, look at it, be jealous or anything. What I'm trying to instill is a different way of thinking so you can enjoy this hobby. Because remember, as much as we love comics, it's not a life or death situation. You could still breathe air without a comic book. You will, you know, not go hungry if you don't buy a certain book. But you could still make it fun. So that's what I want to instill in people. And I want to show that even with the situations of me losing 3 out of 4 jobs, I'm still trying to find a second DJ job. That's not going well, but it will eventually. It's a matter of time. And with the situation with Luna, like having to go to the emergency room today, I want to show people that even when the you-know-what hits the fan, you can still have empowerment. You could still have enjoyment. You could still succeed. Don't beat yourself up. So maybe I'm going through all this stuff, and my wife and the cats and everything are going through all this stuff to just show that life does go on. So, another inspirational video I did the other day was the update on my cat Luna. It wasn't about comics, and not many people watched it. But those that did came out of it with something very positive. So if you haven't had the opportunity to see that video, I think it's like 2 or 3 videos ago, I highly recommend it because you'll see things in a different perspective. Once you change your perspective, things around you will change. If you harp on the same thing over and over again, I mean, think of it as, you know, when you were in 1st or 2nd grade, you learned 2 + 2 is 4. Just imagine if you spent your whole life trying to reiterate 2 + 2 is 4. And you spend your time just making sure you remind yourself of that instead of just knowing that's what it is. That's energy taken away from somewhere else where you could be more productive. And the problem is most people in the world, they stick to a certain pattern and then they wonder why things don't change. So it's up to you. So hopefully you'll see this comic book channel as more than just showing comics. It's teaching you a different way to think. And if you appreciate that kind of stuff, and I know the majority of you do, the support with the thumbs up, the sharing, and the kind words in the comments section, people signing up for the cashback program. Remember, it's free to do. The link is in the description. If you spend $25 or more the first 90 days, you get a $10 cashback, and I get a one-time $25 support fee. So if you want to help my channel and you don't have money to support, which is fine, I don't ask for that. People are kind enough to do it, though. That's one way to do it where it helps yourself, but it also helps me one time. Now, if you've signed up and haven't used it, I don't get anything, but that's okay. My idea is to try and help people. So thank you so much about giving the support. Comic Lover Omega says, sorry to ask, man, how's Luna? I said it a couple of times in this video, so what I would recommend is just rewatch it when it comes up, because I told the whole scenario. I don't want to keep reiterating the same thing over and over again, but she's hanging in there and she's doing fine, better than this morning. So yeah, Ruben says it well, stay positive. So Ruben, you are going to be today's surprise subscriber shout out, and we're also going to do one more today. We're going to do Keeping You Cool. And he says, I appreciate your videos and your dedication to the hobby and fueling my comic addiction. Hope Luna gets well. So thank you very much for that. And yeah, it can be an addiction. It is like any drug. Sometimes you need more and more. And when you get what you want, it's exciting. But then, you know, you put it on a shelf and then you need something more exciting. So just change the psychological part and you'd be amazed at how things go. Because like I said, they're fun, but it's not life-changing. Like when somebody said about that AF-15 right now, you know what? My cat's health and my family's happiness is more important than getting myself a comic book to fulfill an ego. So I'll get it eventually, but you know, you got to put priorities. So thank you very much, everybody. I hope you appreciated this video. Your thumbs up will show that you do. Thank you to those that do. And we'll have some more videos coming. So don't forget, it's not you, it's not I. It's We Love Comics. Happy shopping. Don't forget to ask and wait for deals and make things happen. I'll see you next video, everybody. Peace out.